Hi, in this tutorial I show you how to make this dress step by step, so you can do it yourself. I show you the stitch I used. For this project I used a warm wool yarn. One ball is 100 grams and 70 meters long. The recommended needle size is 8 to 12 millimeters. I used a 9 millimeters crochet hook. The yarn is thick and chunky, so the project grows fast. I used about 8 balls of yarn for the whole project. I also show you how to measure your size. With these tips, you can make a dress like mine or a longer one. If you prefer, you can also make an oversized sweater. It all depends on you, what you like and what you want to crochet. To make this dress, we need two panels in the same size, one front panel and one back panel. At the top, we add extra rows, about 10 centimeters, 3 rows on each side. This helps us join the panels at the shoulders and leave an opening for the neck. Next, we make 2 rectangles for the sleeves. So in total, we have 4 panels. All panels are worked back and forth in rows. After sewing everything together, we crochet in the round. We make ribbing at the bottom of the dress, ribbing on the sleeves, and a turtleneck using the same ribbing stitch. Okay, let's get started. Now I show you the stitches on a small sample. Please make first a 10 by 10 cm sample with your own yarn. Everyone crochets a little differently, and this makes it easier to check how many chain stitches you need to start. Next, measure your bust width. This will be your size for the front and back panels. If you want a looser fit, just add a few centimeters. Now make a chain as long as you need for the width of the front and the back panels. Add one chain stitch for turning and we start the pattern. The pattern is very simple. The pattern is very easy. We start with a single crochet. In the next stitch, make a double crochet. Then repeat single crochet, double crochet, all the way to the end of the row. Your starting chain should have an even number of stitches. So you finish the first row with a double crochet. Now you can start to see the texture of the stitch. Every next row starts with a single crochet and ends with a double crochet. This means you make a single crochet into the double crochet from the previous row and a double crochet into the single crochet from the previous row. You repeat this pattern across the row. Let's begin the second row. Make one chain stitch to turn. As I said, each row always starts with a single crochet. Then a double crochet, and you continue alternating single crochet and double crochet to the end. You always finish the row with a double crochet. This is very important to remember. In every row, make the same number of single crochets and double crochets. If you forget this, your work can start to get narrower. If you are not sure which stitch is the last one, the easiest way is to place a stitch marker in the last stitch. This helps you see the end of the row and keep the correct stitch count. And we keep crocheting. Make one chain stitch to turn your work. Now we start again with a single crochet. If it's easier for you, you can place a stitch marker in this first single crochet. This way you will know that this is the stitch where the last double crochet of the next row should go. Now you continue the pattern, alternating double crochet and single crochet. Remember, the last stitch in every row is always a double crochet. You can already see how the pattern looks after the first 3 rows. Keep crocheting until you reach the length you want for your dress. Count how many rows you have made. Then make the back panel exactly the same width and length as the front panel. Here you can clearly see the rows and count them. You can place a stitch marker in every row. It will make counting much easier. Okay, I already have my sample finished. I mark every 2 rows with stitch markers. You can place markers along the entire length of the front panel if you want. You can also clearly see the texture of the fabric when working the stitch pattern. If you make a 10 by 10 cm sample, you can easily calculate how many stitches you need to start the front panel and how many rows you need to reach your desired length. I made a slightly bigger sample so I can show you the next steps. How to sew the pieces together and how to make the ribbing. Okay, once you have the front and back panels sewn together, the next step is making the ribbing at the bottom of the dress. You can make it short like mine or longer if you prefer. If you make it longer, remember not to tighten it too much because it can restrict movement while walking. In that case, it's a good idea to add a slit or make the dress longer using the main pattern and keep the ribbing only about 5 centimeters long. Okay, the sides are sewn. Now we will work in the round on the joint panels. The sleeves will be a little different. Each sleeve is made from one panel. You fold it in half and sew it on one side. Then you make the ribbing, also working in the round. The bottom of the dress will have ribbing without decreasing. For the sleeves, the ribbing will be done with decreases. Now I show you on my sample how to sew the pieces together. There are a few different ways to do this. With this pattern, the right and wrong sides looks the same, so it doesn't really matter how you join them. Use stitch markers to connect the pieces in a few places so everything lines up nicely. And we start. I like joining panels using single crochet. I feel like the garment moves better and the seams are not too tight. And one important thing, we make the ribbing on the right side, so remember to turn all the pieces right side out after sewing. I need to pull the yarn through this small sample. Around the entire round, you make only single crochet stitches. In the first round, I make one chain stitch. I place a stitch marker so I don't miss the spot when working in rounds. You make only single crochet stitches. Join the last stitch with a slip stitch. Next, we will work into every single crochet from the previous round. This time, we start with 2 chain stitches. Now we will work alternating front post half double crochet and back post half double crochet. For the sleeves, I recommended not to working into this stitch. But into the next one. This will give us a stronger decrease at the sleeves. At the bottom of the dress, I recommended working more loosely. Here we work into this stitch and alternate front post and back post half double crochet. For the sleeves, into the next one, front post half double crochet, and back post half double crochet. I didn't place a stitch marker here, but I really recommended doing it so you don't miss this spot. We finished the round with a slip stitch. In the next rounds, you will see how the ribbing starts to get narrow. We continue working the same way. We start with 2 chain stitches. This time I will place a stitch marker. Now we make a front post half double crochet. Then a back post half double crochet worked directly into the same stitch because I don't want to decrease the sleeves anymore. This is the way I recommended making ribbing at the bottom of the dress. Start from this round, skipping the previous round where I skipped 1 stitch. Join the round. Then you continue working every round the same way until you reach the length you want. As you can see, on the sleeve the ribbing decreases quite strongly. For a turtleneck, I recommended working more loosely, the same way as at the bottom of the dress. And here it is, the finished dress. This is one of my first crochet tutorials, so I am still learning and improving with every video. I love sharing my ideas and creative process with you. If you have any feedback, please leave them in the comments. It really helps me make my videos clearer and more enjoyable to watch. Thank you so much for being here and crocheting along with me. See you in the next video.